You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Here we go.
Why are we whispering?
I don't know, because I got nervous. You pointed at me and I was like, think of something.
Are we in a library?
Here we go.
What did you write down?
I've got funny stories.
Let's hear it.
Well, it's actually the first one is like really cool. And the second one, or vice versa, who knows? So like there's this, we've been talking about like, I'm smelling things, right?
Yes.
I'm smelling things. And I'm like, what does that smell? And how there's a thing that we've learned about clairsentience, where people can smell energies. They can smell things.
Mm-hmm.
And also the way our brains work is we don't always associate a clairsentient scent with the emotion. There's like, or at least for me. So when things come up, until I know what that scent means, I don't know what it means until I have that neural connection, which is kind of frustrating because it's like I can tell that something is off, but I don't know what it is. So it's like this gut feeling, it's this scent, it's all of these things, but I don't always know. It usually comes to light and I'm like, there it is. And then I know when that scent comes up what I'm smelling, or if it has to do with a certain person, anyways. But then there's new scents that come out, and it's that process again of what does this mean? I haven't been thinking about that. So I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the smell is, because there's a new smell.
Should we pick it apart and find out what it is?
Well, first I have a funny story, and then we can.
Okay.
So, because anxiety levels are like up. Like we're healing traumas, we're deep in shadow, we're moving, we're selling the house, we're doing all of these things, right? So, we're in eclipse season. There's a lot going on.
Anxiety is
like, and I'm working with it. And I'm doing really well of like cognitively being aware of it, and like taking moments and taking time outs and taking pauses and like putting a period in, which those are also all messed up right now. So yay. But putting a period in instead of like the run-on sentences, unlike now, of taking the pause, but it's coming out in other ways. So I've been sitting here with all of this scent going on. And it wasn't until you said it now that made me think, oh, maybe this isn't a real smell. Maybe this is one of my smells. Maybe this is one of the things that, and I'm like, well, what does it mean? I don't know. However, to the funny part.
Okay.
We were leaving the other day and nobody cooked breakfast. There was nothing. Nothing had been cooked. Like not even a bowl of cereal had been poured. Maybe a bowl of cereal. But we were leaving and I smelled toast. And I'm like, why do I smell toast? And I'm like, am I having a stroke? And then it was like funny. And then I thought, wait. So I ran to the mirror and did like the smile and the tongue test, and then like threw my arms. And I'm like, what is the phrase? And I was trying to remember the phrase that, I've asked a million times on the phone, but I couldn't remember it. So I started saying a bunch of phrases and then realized as I was sitting there coming up with a bunch of different rhymes, I'm like, Steph,
probably done.
You're okay. Yeah. It's time to leave the house now. But I totally like went to a mirror and I'm like, I smell toast. Is this it? Are both sides equal? I checked myself for stroke symptoms. That's the level of anxiety that I am navigating.
That's funny, babe.
That is funny. That's funny.
Do you want to dive into your smeller and figure it out? Or at least maybe some correlation between what's going on with your smeller? Because it's been intense for a few weeks.
It has. I'm also not convinced that it doesn't have something to do with you, so I'm nervous. I'm like, I don't know if I want you to pick it apart.
Okay.
Back on. I'm just kidding. We can pick it apart. We can try. It's usually not something that like I can cognitively go through. It's usually an awareness that like things align, and then it becomes and I'm like, oh, poo, poo, poo.
Well,
we can try.
We can pick it apart if you'd like.
Let's try.
Okay.
Let's try.
So just to clarify a little bit, so then people have some context, like the idea is that...
Am I talking fast?
You're talking a little fast.
I'm talking really fast.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I have so much that I, like, in the past couple of days, I'm like, I want to talk about this on the podcast. I want to talk about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, but lucky for us, we have a weekly podcast.
Should we talk about your stuff?
No.
Let's deflect.
No. So to clarify, the belief is because you have like clear audio, clear, all the different clears that come through in regards to the extrasensory perception that we have as humans.
Okay.
So it's like
there's different clairs at different times.
Your ability to sense energy, see energy, feel energy, and then smell energy
at different times.
Right?
Yeah.
Sound sometimes, like
sometimes I hear stuff.
One that's pretty profound for me is all the ringing in my ear and the different decibels and the different like the changes in sound for me are very what's the word? Palpable, I guess.
Yeah.
The very significant, I guess, is a good word. However, like sense of smell is one of yours that, as long as I've known you, it's always been something. It's always been something that you're very honed into. Like your sense of smell is something that you use to like sense the world around you.
I'm like a hound dog.
Right? You're like a bear. It's a very strong sense of smell.
Okay.
And it's so you're using that sense of smell to really check in with what's going on around you. And if there's a subtle shift in a smell,
it grabs me.
You're like on point. You're like, what's going on? There's something here. I can smell something. Right. And when we can't pinpoint it to, whatever, we cooked salmon last week, or, if there isn't something obvious, then sometimes it's easy to just blow it off as whatever. But sometimes when it's not obvious, when there's not something on this plane or in this dimension that we can pinpoint and say, this is...
I can smell it right now.
What that smell's coming from.
Can you smell anything?
No.
Because it's like starting to like really intensify. Awesome. And I'm like...
So we're bringing awareness to it. So we may get closer to figuring out what this might be. Okay.
Is my smile equal?
You're not having a stroke.
I don't know.
But this hyper-focusedness that you've had with smell, I think, is emblematic of something underneath the surface that you're smelling. And you're trying to, like, it was the washer for a while. It was the sink. It was...
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to eliminate things.
Exactly.
So, like, I'm like opening windows and fans and clearing out and like scrubbing things.
So let's just... for the next little bit during the podcast, let's set aside that it's an actual thing. So it's not the washing machine.
Well, now I believe that. Now I know sink. That.
Let's set those things aside
also,
and let's really sink into
those stuff need to be cleaned anyways. So
the smell is.
The smell is.
Are you ready?
Sure.
You want to do a little bit of work with your husband?
Fuck. I don't know.
Come on, baby. Invitation is there.
I am having trust issues with you right now.
Yes.
So this is like interesting to try and get into the space. I feel like I have to, interesting. I don't feel like I can,
trust me.
I don't feel like I don't feel like you are, I don't even know how to like word this. I'm trying to come out with this in like, it's intensifying. That's interesting. If I need support or a place to even rest, I need to look in other avenues. And I've got that now, and I am. So this feels like support. And I'm like, this is not, like, I don't know that I'm able to cross this, because like it's like, this isn't my choice. Like, the decision was made, like, for me. Like, this is what this looks like, until I said, okay, I got it. So I don't know how to step into this right now with you, which is a beautiful cast of our shadow, right? Why not work it out? Okay, let's work it out. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Keep in mind, obviously we can tap out at any given point.
Oh yeah. Like, I'm ready to tap out right now.
It's just like jiu-jitsu. You can say, I'm done, and tap out.
I'm scared. I really feel like the ego in my head is like, you're going to pay for this. Like, don't do this. Keep this to yourself. Do not share this. You have learned enough. Do you really have to learn this lesson again? Like it's coming up full force.
She's coming in to project.
Yeah. Like I can't tell, like, what do I want right now? Like, do I want to like step into this, or do I want to like realizing very strongly how much anger I actually have in me and how much is coming up. So the curiosity here of being like, I'm not going to take it all on and be like, this is me, this is me, this is my shame, this is my fault, this is my, but I'm not going to like project it out, and it has nothing to do with me either. It's this like learning how to do this, I guess this balancing act between what is actually mine and what doesn't belong to me and I don't have to pick up. So I don't know. I don't know. I can get there myself, but you saying, like you telling me to make it, I'm like, dude, take your shit and like, no, you just go ahead and take it over there. I'm not, I love you, but no, like take your, so which angle do I want to go? What feels right? Is it mine? Is it not mine? Is it the association that I have? Is it the tie to it? I don't think I have that answer yet. I think I need to like sit with it a little bit more. You want to try and like go back in without, like, I don't want to start making assignments while I'm still just being curious. You know, if I start attaching things, then it paints a picture that might not be true.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. Would you mind continuing to help guide me?
Absolutely.
I mean, I can guide myself, but I've been doing that. I'll just go in circles in a little outside. Okay.
You can open up your eyes.
I don't want to. I'm ready to close them.
Okay.
Oh, were you guiding me? Okay. Eyes open. I'm very resistant.
Right.
Hold on.
That's what we're going to bring awareness to.
My resistance. Okay.
Because there's a part of this smell that's not going away.
Right. It's driving me bonkers.
Right?
Yeah.
It's in your face.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly out of nowhere, it's everywhere. It's thick. You can smell it.
And only sometimes.
Right? Because sometimes it gets triggered.
Right? Like things are like sparkly clean.
Yeah.
There's no scent. But then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's triggering it?
What's triggering it?
So in my mind, from listening and kind of being in this moment with you and kind of feeling our way through this, the anger, like the immediate stopping of, I will not tolerate any form of gaslighting any longer.
Yeah.
To me, that's a spot that we could lean into and go towards. Because it feels like there's some connection and some correlation to that.
Okay. Things can be, though, like, I don't know. I mean, definitely. I'm getting in my head because I'm like, that doesn't fit, because I'll just like, everything will be fine. And I'll walk into a room and like, it's not like there was any kind of tension in any aspect.
So think about this. Okay?
And it's like, oh, I just walked into it.
We'll pause for a moment and just kind of analytically think about something.
Okay.
So when we're processing through big themes
Mm-hmm.
and when we're healing big themes,
Mm-hmm.
there's layers to that healing process.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them are this active role of analytically looking, feeling, sitting in the stuff, all of that kind of stuff, all the work that we continually do on a regular basis.
Boy, this is a blind spot for me. Okay.
And then,
Hello, shadow.
right? And then there are subconscious processes that have to take place and that are taking place all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're healing things consciously and we're bringing it forth out into the forefront of our mind, oftentimes we get to a point where we kind of metaphorically tap out. We're like, okay, I've got to focus on what's this other thing, this thing. If I just take, this.
I'm literally taking a break from all this stuff too.
Right?
I'm like, I need to like let stuff marinate.
Exactly.
There's enough to like right now it's time for a pause and just like the integration.
Exactly.
The integration of information. That's
So
the word I've been looking
during
for.
the integration process, when you're going through the healing, there are subconscious processes that are taking place that aren't about, I mean, it's all about integration, but there's your subconscious, your shadow is like dealing with the problem. And you think, I'm not dealing with it anymore. I'm taking a break, or I'm not thinking about it.
I know I'm not doing that.
But then your subconscious is very much still in the thick of it and is processing it.
Well, that's like my conscious is also there.
Right.
Like I'm not actively like diving in to it, to other things. It's like where I'm at, what has been uncovered is huge. And I'm giving it the attention it deserves, basically. So by taking a break is like, what I mean is I'm not like, this has been a deep dive and it's been a continuing deep dive. And I have like so much more diving to do, but I have hit a depth that I'm like, I can't just like scoosh past this depth. Like this part needs to be explored. It needs to like really be, if I dive past this, I'm going to miss it. You know, I've got to like, so I'm just like staying in the immersion of it.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by a break. I'm not oblivious. I'm not like not looking at it. I'm just not boom. And I'm allowing myself like air.
Grace, yeah.
I'm coming up for air. I'm like not sitting in this the whole time. I'm like bringing joy in and healthy choices in and trying to like caretake myself while I'm unpacking a bunch of shit. Does that like make sense?
Makes total sense.
So, okay.
Let's assume that the smell is old shit that you're healing.
Okay. Can do that. Easy.
Right.
Old shit that I'm healing that
is coming up.
That's coming up, that when it gets re-triggered, when I notice it and I'm like, this is not something that I want to keep smelling.
Exactly. This is something in my life that is old, that is sticky, that is probably not even mine.
All right. Yeah.
That I've been carrying around.
Yeah, it wasn't mine to begin with, but I figured out how to embody it. And so I have to shed shit that is not mine and shit that I made mine.
Okay, so what is that? See? There we go.
I don't know.
I'm just walking the path
I know, but I'm like, is this incorrect associations? Because like, I know I'm here. Like, is it one of those things where it's like, yeah, it's that obvious. It's one and the same. Or is it like, no, you're feeling this. So then you make the association that this is this. You know what I mean? When you have this thing going on and then you tie other things, when you associate it with this feeling that has nothing to do with it. And honestly, I'm too close right now. I'm like, I don't know if it's like ding, ding, ding. It's that obvious, or everything isn't about this. You know, other things have other feelings and I'm just too close. That's okay. It's still too new.
Can it be both?
Yeah. It can be both. Probably is both. It's probably both and it's probably neither. You know, so many different things. Like it gets to be all of it and it gets to be none of it. It gets to be just like whatever it is. I'm trying really hard to not hold on to it, you know, and just let it be what it is and not label associations. Figure it out.
Trying really hard not to hold on to it.
Yeah.
Sit with that for a minute.
Okay.
A little twitch in your eye, right? The uncomfortableness of sitting with that. Because what am I insinuating?
I don't know. It could be a multitude of things.
Well, what's the twitch in your eye? What's the thing that's irritating about sitting with that statement? I'm trying really hard not to hold on to it.
That twitch is like you're like that sparking things about letting go. That's things about I don't know. Honestly, like that twitch is because I feel like I'm being judged in my process. When that like there you go, that's what's wrong with you. Oh, and so I felt judged. But that's not necessarily what you were saying. I'm not saying that's what you're saying. Like that's just that part that wants to protect me,
The ego coming in.
that says, hey, you're being judged, so you'll quit talking and quit sharing and quit trusting and pull it all in, put that wall back up and stay safe.
And hold on to it.
And hold on to it. Hold on to it. So like, I know you're not doing that. I know you're not judging me. That's just what that spark in me feels like. That's the...
What are you holding on to now in your life that you could let go of?
That I could let go of? Oh God, I'm letting go of so much. What could I hold on to that I'm letting go of? This, interesting. I wonder if the smell is a combination of, I almost don't know if I want to talk about it on the, like the associations that I'm having, like the awarenesses that are coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, they are deep. There's, things are, you know, as you love to say, multifaceted. So, it's this thing that is serving multiple purposes, that is telling me, like, it's like, it's a light on, behaviors, actions, and patterns of others that I do not choose to participate anymore, and behaviors, actions, and patterns from myself that I don't know how to not play the assigned role. I don't know how to not participate in. So I'm not, but I'm also not sure what it is that I am supposed to do, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, I'm not going to do that. I can see that, but I don't know what to do. And so kind of by being in that moment of, okay, but I don't know what to do, is partially still participating by not doing something about it. But I also know that doing something about it has been done in unhealthy ways too. Mm-hmm. And I definitely am holding myself to a level that I am by not participating in that round. So I am, it's all anger, and it is my anger, and it is your anger, and it is others around me anger. And it's the ways that I'm not, like when it comes up, the ways that I'm not participating in it and the ways that, and when it's coming up that I'm trying to figure out how to express in a healthy way and being like, this is not okay. This is these are my boundaries. And I've set so many boundaries. I've done like fucking rock star at this, right? And now that I'm like at rock star level, it's like, okay, the introduction round was fun. Right. This was the tutorial. And so now here's some shit that you get to really do it on. Right. And I'm like, man, it fucking stinks in here.
That's what was standing out. I don't know
what to do.
That's what was standing out to me was like, this sounds like boundary work.
Yeah. Well, I don't like it when I can smell it from others, because that feels like an assault. It feels like an attack. It feels like you're getting into my bubble and like, boom, like I am peace in here. And it's not that, oh, everything is fine and peace and rainbows and happiness all the time. No, I'm just not participating in this shit. Quit trying to put all of this shit. I don't want to hear it from you. I don't want to hear it from you. Like, go talk about it yourselves. Leave me the fuck out of it. Like, oh, and don't put it on other people either. It's like, just fucking quit. Like, I'm so done. I'm done smelling other people's shit. Like, I got to figure out my own shit. I'm not gonna, like, these are really, really unhealthy things, and it's coming with a lot of weight, and there are things that are coming to an end. And I'm like, I don't know what more is going to come to an end. And I don't know if I want to end things, you know? I just don't know. I don't know how to do, I don't know what I really want in healthy levels, because one of my strategies is just to fuck it, like cut it off. You know, you're out of my life. You're out of my life. You're out of my life. I just like, which can be really healthy, right? And it can also be really, really negative, because then I'm not dealing with anything. But then also there's people that are not in a space where they can work that out with you and come to healthy ways. So to sit there and keep showing up in somebody's space that doesn't feel good and is hurtful when they're not willing to do anything other than make it your fault and make themselves like they're not willing to like, let's look at things together, then you do have to just like remove yourself, because otherwise you're just abusing yourself. Like there's a point like when somebody is violating your boundaries, but you keep putting yourself in their boundaries, like that is an act. And that, I hate that. I hate that. Like that is such a hard thing to like realize that there is self-abuse that you are perpetrating. You're like, fuck that. This is not my fault. I'm not doing this. And I have a role. I hate finding out you have a role, you know?
Yeah, the realization that it's something that you do.
It's beautiful because you can change it.
Right.
Sometimes. Now, there's people that are definitely in situations where getting out of that role is much harder.
Well, we're talking about you.
We are talking right about now. Where I am right now.
Exactly.
But I don't want somebody who is in a very, very like traumatic experience that doesn't have an exit strategy that is like available to them at this moment, when they are not in a space where they have an exit strategy, or that they can see their exit strategy, or that they have any kind of safe choices right now when they're like in it, to hear, oh, this is your fault, you're doing this. Like, no, because all that does, that's going to take somebody out like that. I want to make sure that's not communicated. So yes, we are talking about me and my participation, but I'm in a place now where I have a choice in my participation. And other times, at that time, I didn't have a choice. You just didn't have it. You're like, you always have a choice. You make the best choice you can with where you're at. At that time, I made the only choice that I could make.
Yeah. Which
was participation. So now I have a choice. And it's really deep. It's deep, 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 which is why it's so spunky. But like, you know, cool. Like I like deep cleaning washers and sinks and making sure things are, you know, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with. I was like, I think it's the HE, because HEs can start to smell weird. So I think they're making our clothes smell weird or something. And I can't. Isn't that what they're called? The energy efficient, the washer and
The
dryers.
washer and dryer.
They're like HE. I don't
High
remember what it's
efficiency or
Yeah.
something.
Like, and I'm telling you, I don't want one of those washers next time.
Yeah. So it
I don't
sounds to
know.
me like I
Funny.
said, it sounds like a lot of boundary work. And you said like, I'm killing it at boundaries. And you have been. Like you've been doing massive work.
And get to appreciate myself and be proud of
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah. And I think a lot of because we practice boundaries, right?
Yeah.
It takes practice. And sometimes the way that we can practice those boundaries is with small stuff with just ourselves. So like you've done a lot of boundary work with just Steph.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful way to start the practice of setting boundaries, honoring boundaries, having discipline, all of these kind of different things. I'm in the same boat. I've been doing a lot of that kind of similar work.
God, I talked forever. Jesus.
Baby, it's
Sorry.
the Steph and Craig show.
This is the Steph show, apparently. This is
our
all about
podcast,
Steph
babe.
podcast today.
You didn't hog up the
I'm
episode.
monopolized. Keep
There's
going.
not a guest
Yeah.
here that we have avoided talking to other than trauma.
I've made a tangle.
It's okay. Don't worry about
Okay,
that right now.
boundary setting. You've been doing boundary settings with yourself too.
So now it comes time to do those boundaries out in the world with other people.
Yeah.
And they're scary.
They're scary. They're hard.
It's just plain and simple. It's scary. And you said it like, I don't know how to do it. And that's accurate,
Yeah.
right? You don't. I don't.
Yeah.
And this is what I know from experience, because I've set some really hard boundaries this year.
Yeah.
And what I know from experience is that there's not really a right way to do it. And if we sit around and wait for, like I know for me personally, if I would have sat around and waited until I felt like I had it all figured out, in the meantime,
Right. Violated.
in the meantime, I got a little boy inside of me that is just taking abuse.
Yeah.
And what I decided to do for that little boy was to say, no more. And I'm going to mess it up and I'm not going to do it right. And it's going to come out sloppy and it's going to be really hard, but I'm going to set a really hard boundary and I'm going to say the thing.
That's really beautiful. That's how you do it.
That's how it's done,
Yeah.
right? Because we don't know how to do it.
Right.
And we have to practice it. And you've done enough practice up to this point that the universe is saying, here you go.
Here you go. Are you ready?
You've done such a beautiful
Right.
job. You're kicking butt. Let's go up to the next level of setting boundaries,
Right.
because it's growth and it's health and it's all these different things. It's healing.
Right. Yep. Fun.
And I'm in full support of you and the work that you're doing and everything that's coming up for you.
I support you in your work too. I support your boundaries, your boundary setting. And I know they're hard and I think you're doing a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Same.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. I'm sure you can relate. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. It's hard. It's scary. And then the other people have to adjust or not.
Right?
Yeah. But it's hard when you really won't want it to,
Some of these things that come out, that stand out to me in listening to you talk.
Oh, my
And
throat is like,
obviously I have a lot of inference because I'm in this life with you, right?
Yeah.
So I have information that the people listening don't have.
yeah.
However, there's some things that we can pick out and highlight that I think are really, really important. When we start to change up relationships in our life and set new boundaries, we think about, and this is so applicable, I think, for everybody, but it's also like super applicable for parents. But it's not just parents. If you don't have kids, this will still apply to you. But we think about what those decisions that we make and the ramifications that they're going to have on the people around us.
Yep.
And that's what a boundary is. A boundary is a decision. I'm no longer doing X, Y, or Z.
Mm-hmm.
This is my new boundary. This is the way that this relationship is going to be based off of what I want and how I feel. And I am prioritizing that above all else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we have kids and when we have partners and when we have other people in our life that are going to be affected by those decisions, not just the other person that's on the other side of the boundary or on the other side of the statement, but we have to think about them as well. So then like the real deep, hard part of it is, yes, doing that consideration for how this decision will affect others,
Mm-hmm.
but at the end of the day, still making that decision. based off of the individual that you're making it for.
Oh, I'm struggling with that.
Based off of the 4-year-old little Stephanie inside of you that you're making that decision for. And then for me personally, right, because I've done this, what I always have come back to is I'm prioritizing that inner child inside of me, and I'm loving him first. And by doing so, I'm teaching our children to do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That is absolutely the message. And I think they're getting the message.
And so that alone fixes, for me, it doesn't have to for you, but that alone is the solution to how this boundary setting will affect them in their present life right now today. Because I'm playing the big, long game of making hard decisions for my inner child that never got them, that never had anybody show up and love them that way, that never got that support, that had to figure out everything on their own, that fucking failed miserably over and over and over again, that has taken abuse over and over and over again, and has learned to continually abuse themselves over and over and over and over again, and saying, I'm going to show up for that kid first.
Yeah. Wow.
And I'm going to trust that will have massive rippling benefits with like all the love and all the compassion and everything, not just for the inner child inside of me, not just for the adult that I am today, but for those that I love around me. It comes down to that whole thing of like, you can only do your stuff. You can only work on your own stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But it's really fucking challenging when you have people around you that when they stop being able to get to you, they go to your kids. And it's really hard when you have people around you that take it out on your kids. So when you set boundaries, it still trickles downhill, and you still have to try and navigate, how am I setting healthy boundaries for me? And how am I doing it? Like, I'm not just going to like throw my kids out to the wolves, you know? And that's what it feels like, which is like one of those stuck times. I'm like really trying to set these hard boundaries. So I'm creating distant boundaries, and I'm creating non-violent boundaries. Like I'm not like participating with like aggression. I'm not participating with like these like outbursts. I'm not participating with like, I'm not getting in the mix of it. I'm excusing myself from conversations, and I'm to not stir it up more and to not come in as the protector and not taking all those things. Now, if I feel like I need to protect, you know, I'm going to protect, but I'm going to do it in a way that is like when the protection is needed, not in a reactive to abuse, participating in the dynamics of unhealthy behaviors, which when they spin you out to get a reaction is like the whole dopamine hit process of all of these clusters that are coming up. So watching my roles is caretaking myself, but it is also caretaking other people that are being the most affected and have the least amount of say. And I'm getting really tired of it. I'm getting really tired of I'm getting really tired, and I'm ready to like, do you know what? I can't have these dynamics in my life. And I'm just not sure what that means yet. So but it's going to work out. I don't know how, and I don't have to know. And this isn't like just like checking out of it. This is the reminder. This is where I get comfort, because when I get really scared and really hurt, I have been like diving in and asking for help, not from a person, but like being like, I need support. I need help right now. I need help with this fear. Like I've even like, I need to feel unconditional love. I need to feel that. I need help right now. And so when it gets really hard, I do just let it go, because I can't hang on to these things. It's too much for me. And that's okay. So these are like one of the things where I have to be like, I'm putting this down and I'm going to trust. And then that also makes me like, I have awareness of like, oh, maybe the way that things are happening that I'm feeling like are going wrong. That's another reason I haven't been reactive is I'm like, is this a part of the process? Is this part of me? So I'm like, do I want to go in and correct things that may be what's really working, like maybe divine? And so I'm just like, it stinks in here. I don't know what to do. It'll be okay. It'll all work out. Or it won't, but it will.
Yeah.
I would like it to work out a little faster than it's working.
Right. Then it becomes
like,
what can you let go of?
Right. What? And I'm trying. What can I let go of? I can let go of.
Can you let go of that thing of needing it to work out not only faster, but work out the way that you want it to work out?
I have.
Right.
Yeah. I'm not holding on to this is how it's going to look. I'm just like, and I'm wondering, like, I have to watch that because I also get very deep into dissociation. And so I have to watch that. I still am invested. I still care. I'm still present. And I am letting go of the reins. You know, I'm just letting go and letting it go where it's going to go while being, trying to find that dance. Fuck, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing my best.
What if this was the way that you were actually protecting the children?
I hope so, because it's what I'm doing. So I hope so. Yeah, that's what I sure hope. I can look back now. Like I can look back on things. It's like every time you look back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like when you're in the moment of chaos and but then you look back when you're far enough away, you're like, oh, like you're seeing it. And I'm seeing things that I haven't seen before that have been like beautiful, right? Things that had to break because the path that they were going was terrible. So they had to break so they could heal and go a new way. And I can see that. But it doesn't like make it, like it's still hard. And I'm still scared. I still have fear. I still have a lot of fear. And I'm just letting it go. And sometimes I cry, and sometimes I scream, and sometimes I hold it in, and sometimes I distract. I'm doing a lot of distracting, but I am doing a good job because I keep showing up for myself in the best ways that I can and trying to show up for those around me and not take out my fears and stress on those around me, being like, I'm really activated. This is really hard. And I love you a whole lot. I can't participate in this right now, but I am here.
You're doing such a good job.
I'm sure trying.
You're doing a really, really good job.
Thank you.
Very proud of you, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this wonderful episode of the Energy is Love podcast, where we talked about smelly things and setting boundaries. If you would like more smelly boundary talk, tune in next week to this podcast, where we always discuss the hard things.
Setting boundaries stink.
Yes, it does.
So does
not.
Right? It's like it's the manure. It's the fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
It's the shit that grows the goodness, the bounty. It's the shit grown bounty, the bounty grown shit. I don't fucking know. You can do it. Boundaries are hard. It doesn't have to look pretty. There you go.
See you guys next week.